Greetings, my fellow gamers. 'Tis I, Wraith King. I will be going on a long, angry rant about Overwatch 2, but there is one thing I will give it, is it had a lot to live up to being one of the most popular PvP games ever.
But the most they could have done is to at least give us something different. Did they give it to us? No, of course they didn't. This is literally the same game, but more microtransactions and more live service-y.
But you know what we did get? $40 skins, battle passes that are just about as lazy as I am. Just a whole bunch of stuff we didn't really ask for. But you know what we did get? Some kind of PvE. Not really though, just a little something.
So they didn't deliver on the more important thing that was promised that would make Overwatch 2 Overwatch 2. Instead of actually giving that to us up front, as what was promised, they're drip-feeding us these tiny little bits of story-driven missions every once in a while. But aside from that failure, did they change anything? No, not really. It's basically the same game.
For the most part, it was just gameplay changes, such as buffs, new maps, and etc.
But aside from that, they haven't given us much anything of what we actually wanted. It's basically the bare minimum of what we wanted. We wanted PvE, and they're barely giving us that.
Obviously, this upset fans, including myself. But ever since that blatant lie coming from Blizzard, again, we've all had a very low bar set for basically every new update coming out of Overwatch.
But where does that leave the game now? Surely they must have recovered from all of the horrible backlash coming from the blatant lie that they made about the PvE, right?
Wrong!
Just as things were starting to die down with bad news concerning this game, it wasn't long ago that they released a Diablo 4 themed skin for Moira. It was something that a lot of people were really hyped about. But as soon as the skin came out, we were slapped in the face with a $40 price tag. She was stuffed in a pack full of stuff nobody else cared about besides Blizzard, because they put that stuff in the pack just so you could spend more. Yet again, ruining the trust of the people in this community who have already built this game up to what it is. Never mind the fact that this game is basically falling down a hill, on fire, and all of us are just sitting there in shock, just slowly waiting for it to die. And instead of actually getting water to put out the fire, Blizzard gets gasoline.
Sometimes I feel like Blizzard is actively trying to kill some of their games. All the ones that they're so tired of working on, they're just trying to kill them. They just don't want people to like them, so they're actively making them boring and irritating to play. But I digress. This game currently is so awful in PvP. It's so screwed up. I am honestly surprised not more people are covering this, because all of the game modes feel essentially the same. If you queue up ranked, it's going to feel like you're playing casual. If you play casual, you're going to feel like you're playing ranked. Everyone plays the exact same way.
And then occasionally, you get really lucky in ranked and then run into players who are just as bad as I am. So you could find yourself on a win streak in ranked mode, competitive.
And there are times when I'm just playing casual, everyone feels like they're playing for their life. Some of these players, I wouldn't be surprised if they're actually at gunpoint while they're playing this game. And yes, this can happen in ranked as well, but it happens everywhere. I don't feel like there's much consistency with matchmaking at all. But it's not just the matchmaking that can be really inconsistent. Sometimes you're going to want to play a damage, or you might want to play a tank. But no, in multi-queue, you're always going to be forced to either play support, and the rare occasion where you're playing a tank, and the extremely rare occasion where you actually land playing damage. Over the course of the week I've recorded this video and gotten footage for it, I have only played as damage 2 times out of the 7 days that I've been playing this game. Of course, not 7 days straight. I'm saying every sitting. I'd say roughly about 3, maybe 4 hours I've been playing every day just to record this video and get the information I have. So let's just say I've been playing 4 hours a day. Well, that would mean this whole week, out of the 28 hours I have played this game, I have only been able to play damage twice in the multi-queue.
And no joke, one of those times I actually got to play damage, my game crashed. Now, these are just my numbers. If my numbers are this bad, I can only imagine what someone else's numbers would be.
in the sittings that a normal player would take. And you see, I'm a YouTuber. I made some time out of my day, out of the already busy day that I have, to sit down and play a video game for 4 hours. Some people do not have 4 hours. Some people can only sit down and play a game for maybe an hour, maybe less than that every day. So it would be more realistic to imagine that some people barely get to play damage ever.
I know some of you are probably already typing right now.
You can play in another Brothers Race King. You can just play in the tank Brothers. You can just play as damage.
Well, first of all, being in that playlist, the damage playlist, it takes quite a while for you to find a game, obviously, since a lot of people want to play damage. And the same goes for the tank playlist. It takes a while for you to find a game. Now, there is more of a definitive reason why you would have to play in the multi-queue playlist, but that has to do with hero unlocks, which I will be getting into in just a second. But I digress. I want to say a little bit more on the monetization aspect of Overwatch, because it's definitely one of the things that holds this back the most in my personal opinion.
Now, I've said my piece on microtransactions more than enough, especially concerning this character in a mobile game that cost $10,000. No joke.
Which I will leave a link to in the description. But what I essentially said was, microtransactions, monetization, I believe it's absolutely fine. Especially when they can benefit you in a positive way. Something that gives you, whether it be cosmetics, or maybe something fun to help you progress in the game, but it doesn't ruin the experience for other players, and it doesn't ruin the experience for you. This is where it might seem a little controversial to some. I don't mind getting an extra piece of legendary gear. I don't mind getting a really cool cosmetic that would otherwise be impossible to get elsewhere. What I don't like about microtransactions is when they can ruin a game.
And a good example is when they made that character 10 grand in a mobile game. But they did this in a very under-the-table way.
It was almost impossible for a casual player to save up for enough of the in-game currency to get that character, but if you spent a whole bunch of money on the in-game currency, you could just outright buy one of those characters that would not drop from the banner. That game died because of that, by the way.
Monetization is bad when it gates content or limits content from the other players.
Because then it's no longer a free-to-play game. Instead, it's a free-to-try game. And you know what? I hate to be so blunt about this, but those types of games are a recipe for disaster. Yes, we're looking at you, Destiny 2. If you're going to have a free-to-play game, make most of the game free, but have microtransactions be just that, cosmetics, and bonuses that you could get for free by playing the game. But where the problem with Overwatch lies is it's mostly microtransactions. Are all the skins obtainable for free? Some of them, if not most of them, yes, you can get for free. It does take a while, but due to the recent patch with obtaining some of the in-game currency, it can be a lot
less tedious of a grind to obtain that Mercy skin you've been wanting for so long.
But even with that said, is there much else to do in the game besides grind for skins? Well, yes, but actually no. If you are a new player, you will have hero unlocks that you will have to complete to unlock the majority of every hero in this game. But if you're an older player like me or a couple of my friends, it isn't really a problem. You own basically every hero in the game, except, say, the newer heroes. Now, most of the gameplay is unlocking skins, and that's where my problem lies. But those hero unlocks are definitely considered part of the gameplay experience for newer players, as you do need to play in specific playlists to unlock those characters. Let's say you're trying to unlock a tank, you have to play as a tank, and you have to get wins as a tank or wins in the multi-queue playlist, and this is where you'll be playing as a support a lot. There's an option to play as the class related to the hero you're trying to unlock in quick play, but that game mode is a hit or miss because no one really plays a support there, so I found it more efficient to start up a match in the multi-queue playlist so I could get the wins. This is where I stopped writing. This is where I stopped everything. I don't know how many scripts I have deleted. I don't know how many things I've gone over. It had to have been at least 4 or 5, probably even 6 at this point, because truth be told, I just don't like the game anymore. I'm more compelled to scroll through my goofy Twitter wall than playing Overwatch right now. I'll have to be frank with you guys. There's a clear reason why I've decided to make this video in the first place, instead of just making other videos. It has to do with the state of gaming as a whole. Whenever you think of a concept, an idea, that is what a game starts off as. There's always a passion behind that, right? There's always someone who has a dream and wants that dream to become reality. And from these thoughts, these dreams, create games like Overwatch, like Warframe, and yes, even like Baldur's Gate, a beautiful game. But success always comes with a cost. It always comes with a weight. And I think Overwatch is a victim of that weight. It just couldn't carry it forever. But before then, I know there were so many people who were truly passionate about this game. And then it wasn't long after that when it was you and me who shared that passion. And I believe Blizzard's interest in the game slowly dwindled away. I mean, sure, they make those beautiful videos every once in a while that they release to YouTube, but that is nothing compared to the incredible and very detailed artwork that all of these artists have come up with, all the fan fictions, all of this art that we as the community have produced ourselves. And yes, even the silly not safe for work stuff that has taken the internet by storm. All of that artwork, plus what the YouTubers have created, the streamers, all the countless hours of footage that we have of all the laughs, all the fun games we've had together, all the hardcore sweaty games that we've had, all of that is what makes Overwatch actually alive. The passionate artwork, the YouTubers, the streamers, you, me, all of us, is what makes this game the living and breathing thing that it has become. We, as the community, have built a real experience through what we have created with our own hands, through these characters, through what this game is, or what it could have been. We have expanded on that. Blizzard sometimes releases a couple of videos, a couple of cool additions to the game. Yeah, sure, every once in a while. But no, me and you, we're the ones that are really holding this game up. If the artists stopped drawing, and yes, the not safe for work artist stopped animating, stopped drawing, if all of them stopped working, this game would die. As that is the life, that is the blood of Overwatch. It's us. And sure, you can say, oh, it's the microtransactions, it's the skins, people are buying those. Absolutely, that plays a part as well. But not as much as what we as the community have built, what we have created. All of the fan fictions, all of that is what really supports this game, probably in the best way possible. If all of that was gone, there would be no Overwatch. So whether Blizzard likes it or not, this is Overwatch now. Whether they like that fact or not, this is what's keeping the game breathing. And one day, people will stop caring about the game. They will stop playing it. They'll be more invested into what the next piece an artist comes out with, what the next video one of the dirty artists comes out with. That will be the focus of what Overwatch is. And it is slowly turning into that as I record this video. And when that day comes, Overwatch will truly die as a game. But it will live on in the art community. That much I am certain of. But that's all I really had to say about Overwatch 2. I wish this game went down a better path than what it is currently. It's just not something I find myself enjoying anymore. The whole concept of the state of gaming is something I should make another video entirely. This video could go on for like 35 minutes if I did, but I'll say this small piece here. I stopped playing a lot of live service games for this very reason. It's that it seems like the publishers just don't share passion with the game at all, so it becomes more about monetization opposed to gameplay, and then when that's a problem, the game itself doesn't feel fun anymore, and then you get bored of it, and then you just stop playing altogether, because it's not it's barely a full completed game. It's that it's constantly adding these little things every once in a while. It's not like Baldur's Gate where there's constant hours of replayability and you'll go back to it and revisit it maybe 10-20 years from now. No matter how great games get, you'll always come back to that Symphony of the Night. You'll always come back to those old school games because they're masterpieces, they're beautiful. And Baldur's Gate is definitely going to be one of those types of games far into the future and then some. This is going to be something we all appreciate forever. What about Overwatch? One day this game is going to die and then no one's going to remember it and you won't be able to play it anymore because the servers are down. Now, that might change. Maybe Blizzard will actually do something to this game that makes it playable once the servers are gone, but only time will tell for whatever happens with that. But that's really all I really have to say about the game currently. I just wish it was in a better state, because the community, we are really what's bringing this game life. And I just wish that the publishers understood that passion that we have as creators, as artists, as even the consumers who just love to play the game and look at the content. We are supporting this game, and I wish Blizzard shared that passion that we have. But to conclude my video, I thank you for watching, of course, as always. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe so you too can be a part of the Dark Kingdom. I am sorry for the lateness of this video. I really just could not bring myself to play the game as much as I really wanted to because I just wasn't feeling it anymore. I wasn't even playing like I used to. I used to be a lot better at the game, but I just don't have that passion that I used to when I played this for the first time. So I'm just not as good anymore. And I just didn't want to play. I didn't feel like playing the game. And no joke, the last game I played, and I think it'll always be the last game I played, was as Mercy. And I think that's a good note to end on my experience with Overwatch, as I played Mercy as my final character. She was my favorite and always will be my favorite Overwatch character. But yeah, I don't want to play anymore. Even if it is a defeat, I'm happy with it, and that will be my final anything on Overwatch. I might talk about it again in the future, who knows, but I'm just going to go on to playing other games here on the channel, talking about silly, goofy games, and maybe playing a couple of those, and talking about good live service games, because they do exist. I will be talking about that, but in the meantime, take it easy for me, and please do have a blessed day. Bye.